The Theory of Political Economy by William Stanley Jevons. Chapter 8 Concluding Remarks. Part 3 Professor Hearn's Views. I have more pleasure and confidence in putting forward these somewhat heretical views concerning the general problem of economics, inasmuch as they are nearly identical with those arrived at by Professor Hearn of Melbourne University. It would be a somewhat long task to trace out exactly the coincidence of opinions between us, but he certainly adopts the notion that the capitalist merely buys up temporarily the prospects of the concern he manages and the laborers he employs. Thus he says, in place of having a share in the undertaking, the cooperator sells for a stipulated price his labor or the use of his capital. The case, therefore, comes within the ordinary conditions of exchange, and the price of labor and the price of capital are determined in the same manner as all other questions of price are determined. Yet the general character of the partnership is not destroyed. Although each particular transaction amounts to a sale, yet for the continuance of the business a nearer connection arises. Although the whole loss of the undertaking, if the undertaking be unfortunate, falls upon the last proprietor, and the interests of the other parties have been previously secured. Yet each such loss represents a repetition of the transaction from which it arose. The capital which ought to have been replaced, and which if replaced would have afforded the means of employing labor and of defraying the interest upon other capital, has disappeared. And thus the market for labor and for capital is by so much diminished. Both the laborer and the intermediate capitalist are therefore directly concerned in the success of every enterprise towards which they have contributed. If it be successful, they feel the advantage; if it be not successful, they feel in like manner the loss. But this community of interest is no longer direct, but is indirect, merely, and it arises not from the gains or the losses of partners, but from the increased ability or diminished demands of customers. This passage really contains a statement of the views which I am inclined wholly to accept, but no passages which I can select will convey an adequate notion of the enlightened view which Professor Hearn takes of the industrial structure of society in his admirable work on plutology.